In 1996, about 12 people huddling together in somebody's basement, putting on cassette tape of Stephen Curtis Chapman and playing Saddle Up Your Horses, and everybody sang along. Got this incredible idea that they should start a church. Do you realize that more than 90% of churches that start that way fold within 1 year? This was a really, really bad idea. It was a really, really lame idea. People in that era tell me sometimes they're going, what in the world are we doing? But God said, bold move, people. I'm going to bless that. In 2002, we decided after surveying our culture that we were going to wade into the arena of postmodern ministry, that we were going to learn new ways to communicate the timeless truth of God in ways that could connect with the mindsets and the assumptions and the values of the world as it was, as opposed to how the world used to be. Bold move. In 2003, we decided that we were going to double our budget and triple our staff to get more leadership horsepower to help us grow. Bold move. In 2004, we decided to spend an extra $40,000 a year and move from this building over to the new high school and into the PAC. Bold move. In the fall of 2005, we began the Power of Two campaign. We went from one service to two, so we doubled our services, we doubled our number of volunteers, we doubled our number of small groups, and we also decided we were going to double the amount of land that we own because we wanted to have enough property to accommodate whatever big thing God wanted to do for us. Bold move. In 2006, we launched the Revolution campaign, where we decided under the leadership of God that we were going to position ourselves in a place that was highly visible and desirable. And we purchased 20 acres of land at U Avenue in 131. Land that was originally valued $1 million. And over the course of that year in 2007, we raised double our annual budget with no outside fundraising help to be able to pay for that thing. And during the Revolution campaign, we also announced a vision. A vision that included transformational assemblies where we would be unafraid to try any new thing that might help us better communicate, attract, and resonate with people. That today's generation might hear and understand the good news of life in Jesus. That we would be a relational community where everyone could find a circle of friends to travel through life with. That we would be next generation minded. That the best way to change the future is to alter the hearts of the people who will write the future someday. We decided that we would be involved in holistic ministry. That we would care not just about the spiritual needs, but the emotional, the relational, and the physical needs of people in our world through acts of love and compassion. We would be a virtual community making use of the World Wide Web to help create a broader community. That we would be a replicating community. We got this outrageous idea that we would plant other churches that would still be a part of us in other areas in southwestern Michigan. That would be a network of believing communities that would be partnering together with the same vision, the same mission, the same values to affect the flow of history in this place. Bold move. And God has blessed. Because God blesses the bold move. And that's just part of our story. A second theme emerges from our story that we are writing in the world, and that second theme is simply this: vision is a compass, not a map. You know, a map basically says, okay, you are here, and you want to go there. Here are the roads to take, here are the turns to make, and here's what to expect along the way. When you have the right kind of map, you can see when you're going through country or city. You can see where you're going over a bridge, or whether you're going over mountains or around lakes. Everything is laid out for you to know ahead of time. But when you are being directed by a compass, the only thing you know is, I need to head that way. And everything else is an utter mystery. And we have no idea what we're about to encounter until we actually get there. That's the way it always works with vision. Remember on one occasion, thousands of years ago, there was this, well, actually, he had a really, really checkered past that included manslaughter. And he was basically on the run. And he found this job tending sheep in the desert. I'm thinking not a lot of people applied for that one. And he's out there all alone in obscurity, and the guy is getting up there in years. He's like 80. He's like middle-aged. My definition of middle age has changed as I age. And all of a sudden, this bush, he notices has caught fire. Not totally unusual, except the bush wasn't being consumed. And then all of a sudden, out of that bush comes this voice, this big, booming voice. Take off your shoes, because the place you're standing on is holy ground. And this guy, his name was Moses, is like, God's God. And God and Moses begin to have this conversation, and God's going, Moses, here's what I want for you. I want you to be a liberator. I want you to go back down to Egypt where there are millions and millions of people that I made a promise to. And I want you to liberate them from their oppression, from their slavery in that land, because they cry out to me every day for deliverance from all of the hardship. I want you to go set them free and take them to a land that I'm going to show you. And then after a little bit of arguing back and forth, Moses finally goes, okay. And he began to pursue the vision that God gave him. But he had no idea what was going to happen in pursuit of that vision, did he? Oh, you mean I'm going to have to ask Pharaoh 10 times? And every time I ask him, you're going to have to do some miraculous thing? Like turning water to blood and sending a plague of locusts or frogs or lice or disease on all the livestock or boils on the people or there's going to be hail and lightning or you're going to do all freaky weird stuff like that. I didn't know. Oh, and in order to finally get this liberation thing done, the firstborn of all of the people are going to end up being dead. I didn't know. Oh, and then as I begin to lead you with these millions of people into this land, I'm going to lead you right into a dead end at the Red Sea, and then the army that just let you go, the most powerful military force on the planet, is going to garner all their weaponry. They're going to chase you down to annihilate you. No, I didn't know. But then I'm going to part the Red Sea, and you're going to be able to go through on dry land, and then I'll wipe out this army. Don't worry about it. Oh, I didn't know. Well, then you're going to wander around the desert for like 40 years. Oh, I didn't know. But you're going to be able to go to a rock, and you're going to be able to speak to it or hit it with your rod, and it will gush forth water so that millions of people can have something to drink. And because there's not a lot of food in the desert, there's going to be this stuff that comes down every morning. And God didn't give a name for it, so when the people first saw it, they said, what is it? The Hebrew word for what is it is manna. And it had all the nutrients to sustain them for 40 years. And by the way, because there were no clothing stores there, we're going to make sure that your clothes and your shoes don't wear out for 40 years, and they still fit. I didn't know. See, Moses didn't have a clue. He didn't know that he was going to encounter miracles and madness. He didn't know that there was going to be blessings and blood. He didn't know that he was going to be praised and condemned. He didn't know that he was going to be stabbed in the back and he was going to shoot himself in the foot. He didn't know.